It's been a while since I made a video, and because of this, I want to give my reasoning now and go over my plans for future content right off the bat instead of waiting until the end of this video. So I had every intention to make and release a video a few weeks ago, thinking that my education at college was going rather slowly. However, the gas pedal was pressed down at full force, and I simply did not have the time available to make a video for the past few weeks. I was also assigned a group project where I had to work a lot outside of the classroom, while also away from home, so I obviously did not have the tools necessary to make a video with me. I really want to go back to the weekly upload schedule, trust me I do, but at this point in time, I don't really think that's possible. I just simply don't have the time with my school and work schedule to churn out a weekly upload. But I will say that I do still plan on making videos. I personally think that it's an awesome way to practice my editing skills, and it gives me an opportunity to talk about the things I love the most. Video games. Okay, serious note over, time for the actual video. Hey there friend, Zach here, and
Back! No! Stop!
you might be thinking to yourself, what was that? To which I say, you are correct, today's video is about Half-Life. Before I start, I want to point one more thing out. There are two different versions of Half-Life on Steam right now, Half-Life and Half-Life Source. I will be playing Half-Life Source, just in case you were curious. Half-Life was a groundbreaking game for its time. It basically capitalized on the success of first-person shooters like Doom and Quake, but it basically said, alright guys, you're okay games, but no story. Where's the story? Guys, where's the story? Valve wanted to create a game where first-person shooting was the main focus, but they wanted to have an intriguing story and an emotional one at that. The only issue was, well, you could only make a game so emotional back in 1998. Anyway, as mentioned, the story plays a big role in how the game is played. You play as the main protagonist, Gordon Freeman, a recent MIT graduate who obtained a job at the Black Mesa Research Facility in a New Mexico desert. Gordon is late for work and must hurry down to the locker room to throw on his hazmat suit in order to complete the very important job of pushing a mysterious crystal into a giant beam of light. However, when contact is made,
Gordon, get away from the beam. Shutting down.
No.
Attempting shutdown. It's not. It's not shutting down. It's not.
By pushing the crystal into the beam, Gordon opened up a portal for these weird alien creatures to make their way onto Earth. These alien creatures came from the planet known as Zen, and they aren't exactly the friendly type. This whole entire event is known as the Resonance Cascade, and for how sciencey that sounds, it's not even an actual thing. Valve literally made up the term just for this occasion. After escaping the already destroyed test chamber miraculously alive, Gordon meets up with two Black Mesa scientists in which he is instructed to try and make his way to the surface to get help. On your way to the surface, you work together with fellow scientists and Black Mesa security in order to advance. A little later on in your journey through Black Mesa, you are informed that the military had been called upon to help eliminate the alien threat, which is amazing news, but what is actually happening is that the military had been instructed to clean up the Black Mesa facility, meaning that they are ordered to kill all alien threats and anyone else that has knowledge of what had happened during the experiment. So now while you make your way through Black Mesa, you must eliminate both the alien threat and military personnel alike. A few crowbar hits and gunshots later, you then learn that there is a great being known as the Nihilinth that resides in the border world of Zen that has enslaved an alien race known as Vortigaunts. Way across the facility at the Lambda complex, scientists have been developing a teleportation device that allows anyone to travel through Zen. Being the great hero that you are, you hop right in the teleporter and make your way right over to the border world to find and destroy the Nihilinth. By destroying the Nihilinth, you essentially free the Vortigaunt race from their enslaved state, and they view you as a savior for it. But also by destroying the Nihilinth, you are greeted by a strange man in a suit. This strange man doesn't really have a name that is revealed in the game, but the fans of the series have referred to him as the G-Man. Throughout the entire game, you can actually catch a few sightings of him watching from a distance. He has essentially been watching you through your entire journey. He has taken an interest to your skills throughout your journey and offers you a job to work for him. By accepting the position, you are then put into stasis until you are needed. You can also decline the invitation to work for him, but I don't really recommend that, as you can see. That's the story of Half-Life 1. There is a sequel, but we will probably get to that in another video. Moving on to the gameplay of Half-Life, and you know, it plays like a charm. First off, the fact that Gordon Freeman is a silent protagonist works wonders, because throughout the entire game, it makes you feel like it's not Gordon Freeman that is trying to make it out alive, but rather you, the player. I can agree that silent protagonists have rather been done to death over the years, but at the time it was pretty innovative, especially for the sci-fi setting in video games. There's also a level of interaction in the world that wasn't present at the time. You can pick up objects around you, talk to other NPCs, heck, you can even shoot them if you want to. But don't be so harsh, they're only doing their jobs after all. I think the most fun when it comes to messing around with the interactive elements starts right at the beginning of the game. You can walk around the entire lobby of Black Mesa and mess around with a few different things. For example, you can press a button under the desk to sound off an alarm.
My
Hey,
God,
stop
what are
that.
you doing?
Come on, Gordon. You trying to get me into trouble?
Or when you were in this lunchroom, you can interact with the microwave to blow up the casserole that's inside.
What are you doing?
What's brilliant is that all of these fun little activities act as a small tutorial, getting you used to picking up objects, throwing them, opening doors, and pressing buttons. You can even get a small tutorial in the test chamber itself in how to climb up ladders by just walking up to one and moving forward while looking up. However, if you want to learn right off the bat in a more direct way, there is a whole tutorial mode dedicated to teaching you how to play. But I genuinely think anyone that's playing the game will immediately understand how the different mechanics work from the get-go. Also, speedrunners love this game. There's a mechanic called bee-hopping in which you keep jumping left and right while also moving forward, resulting in an increase in acceleration and speed. You can literally fly at insane speeds within the facility. But what about the weapons? Well, you don't actually start off with anything until after the Resonance Cascade. Keep moving after you escape the chamber, and you obtain one of the most iconic weapons in all of gaming. A crowbar. Could have made it a little better, Valve, come on. But it's not the only weapon you will obtain throughout your escape mission. You will eventually find a pistol, submachine gun, shotgun, crossbow, and this? Bugs. Cool laser gun. Oh yeah, and a rocket launcher. Gotta love variety. Yeah, there are loads of weapons for you to find along the way, and you can pretty much use whichever one you want to defeat your enemies. Except the helicopters, in which you might want to save your sanity and just use the rocket launcher. Of course, some weapons are more powerful than others. I doubt that when you are facing hordes of military personnel, you will want to try and take them down with your pistol. Trust me, it practically won't do anything. Moving away from the weaponry, let's talk about the meme of this game, the AI, and they are pretty interesting.
For God's sake, open the silo door! They're coming for us! It's our only way out! Oh my God, we're doomed!
Okay, you do have to cut Valve some slack though. For a game that was made back in 1998, I'd say they did a fantastic job. They don't necessarily help you fight off enemies. Well, okay, the security officers do, but they can really only get the participation award here. The scientists can help you open doors that are locked, and that's kind of it. If you ever come across any of the scientists, you can have them follow you, or as mentioned before. This game, like most, isn't perfect. In fact, the biggest gripe I have is the Zen portion of the game, which you come across near the end. It's just so bland. The colors are boring, the world feels empty, and there aren't many things to do or interact with. Even the final boss with the Nihilinth kind of blows. Oh, and if you are playing Half-Life Source, there are a few bugs you will probably come across. But again, to be expected. But if you can look past that, the game itself truly is a classic. It's only $10 on Steam right now, and it's one of those titles that everybody should have in their Steam library. And that's Half-Life. You know, for a game made so... Sorry, one second. Hello? You don't say. There's also a fan remake on Steam known as Black Mesa. Now, it's a little more expensive, coming in at $20, but the game was remade from the ground up. Many would actually say it's the definitive way to play Half-Life, but that's up for you to decide. The same story is present, but the dialogue is changed between scientists and security personnel. Now, the game isn't technically finished, as it is missing a few of the final chapters of the game, but one thing I have to give the developers so much credit for is that they also remade Zen from the ground up, and it is an absolute beauty to navigate. It feels so much more like a new world, and I love every moment I spend in it. And so that's Half-Life. You know, for a game made back in 1998, it's aged actually pretty okay. It's not exactly the most perfect game in the world, but it holds up definitely, and I'd say it's totally worth it. If you want to play it, it's $10 on Steam right now. I highly recommend it. I feel like it's one of those games you definitely should have in your library. I wonder if we are going to get a third game anytime soon. Hey, thank you so much for stopping by today. Like I said earlier in the video, I am going to stop the weekly uploads for right now. I hopefully will be able to go back to them in the future when I know I'm going to have the free time. Like I mentioned before, school and work have just picked up the pace a little bit, and I just find myself having less and less time to make a video. So I do want to stress though that this is not the end of me making my videos. I find that it's a great way to work on my editing skills. So at this point though, I'm just going to pretty much make a video whenever I have the time. Who knows when that'll be, but hopefully it's going to be soon enough between videos. I don't want to have to wait a very long time in between each one. So really nothing else to say. Once again, thank you so much for stopping by, and I hope to see you next time. Take care.